Do pain relievers, supplements, and medications break a fast? That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. And we're also going to cover some other frequently asked questions around fasting. So to answer this question really simply, typically the answer is no. Medications, pain relievers, and supplements are typically not going to break your fast. The caveat to this is that if the supplement has any sweetener in it, like say you're drinking an electrolyte pack and it has a sweetener in it, that could break your fast. Or if you're taking like a protein powder or something like that, that could actually break your fast. But say, for example, you're just taking a multivitamin or like a vitamin C or something like that, that is typically not going to break your fast. Or if you're taking like Beam minerals, like I recommend, like we'll talk about that later in today's video as well. That was actually one of the other questions too. So in general, supplements, medications, and pain relievers are actually not going to break your fast. So you'll want to steer clear of any supplements or medications if possible. If it's something that you can talk to your doctor about, if it's like a prescription medication, talk to your doctor first and see. But if you're doing a longer fast, it's best not to take supplements because you want your body to actually do the healing on its own. And if there's a supplement that you're taking that is stepping in while you're fasting, then the autophagy and the healing isn't going to be as effective necessarily in the longer fast. So if you're doing the longer fast, if you can steer clear of, the supplements during that time, that would be best. The exception to that is going to be like the minerals and the electrolytes. During a longer fast, I always recommend those. But the other supplements that you may be taking, I would steer clear of those on a longer fast. But in general, supplements, pain relievers, as well as your medications are not going to break your fast. So I hope that answers your question. We also had a question, what breaks a fast? Okay, so this is a really good question. A lot of people think that anything except water can break your fast. Now, if you are a purist with your fasting, meaning you don't dirty fast, you don't have anything, and you want like the full benefits, no questions asked, then you can do just water, of course, for your water fast. While others are learning to fast, however, or getting chemo treatments or something like that, there's actually things called the fasted snack or things called the fast mimicking diet. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I talked about it in last week's video. Go check that out. It's called the fasted snack or something similar. So while you're learning to fast, there's actually things that you can have in your fasted window. So go check that out. The question this week was, what breaks a fast? So let's talk about that. Anything that breaks your fast is going to spike your blood sugar more than 10 points. Anything that tastes sweet actually can break your fast, so you'll want to pay attention to that. And then basically the opposite of the fasted snack rules is if you break the fasted snack rules, anything on this is going to break your fast. So if it's over 200 calories, if it's more than 18 grams of fat, if it's more than 5 grams of protein, if it's more than 4 grams of carbs, it will break your fast, probably more than likely for sure. So you'll basically keep that in mind as you're experimenting, getting to know your body and what you can tolerate during a fast, okay? So some people can tolerate, a black coffee only. Some people can't even tolerate black coffee while they're fasting. It breaks their fast. Their gut microbiome needs a little bit of work. So later that person can try it. And some people, based on what's going on in their gut microbiome, they can actually have a coffee with heavy cream and it will not break their fast. And in general, it shouldn't break your fast because it'll keep you in ketosis. It's just a little bit of fat and your body will burn through that pretty fast. So those are some tricks there. As far as your blood sugar, if you're new to fasting and you want to check and see if something is breaking your fast or not, you will eat or drink the thing that you're curious about. With what I like to use is called a Keto Mojo. It basically tests your blood sugar as well as your ketones. And what you'll do is you'll drink or eat the thing that you're curious about if it's going to break your fast, and then you'll wait 30 minutes and then you will test again. And if it spikes more than 10 points, it broke your fast, okay? So then you'll want to make note of that for your next fast, that you won't do that during your next fast. Don't do the testing to see if something breaks your fast first thing in the morning, because a lot of people, especially if you have diabetes, you're going to be experiencing what's called the dawn effect. And that's when your cortisol is actually higher in the morning. It's normal for this to happen. And the cortisol spike actually increases your blood sugar. So don't do this first thing in the morning. If you're curious if something is going to break your fast, obviously don't don't do it while you're fasting to test it, because you'll break your fast if it actually does break your fast. But wait until the afternoon and test that cup of coffee, with the cream, and see if it breaks your fast in the afternoon, because then you won't have to worry about, the dawn effect, okay? So another question we had was, does weight loss plateau with Fast Like a Girl? If you're following the Fast Like a Girl and you're actually doing what's called varying your fast, so you're going to use different lengths of fasts during what's called your power phases, if you still have a cycle, is that you're going to be using a variation of fast. So that means you're going to be doing different fasts, like a 13 to 15 hour, sometimes a 17 hour, sometimes a 24 hour. You're not going to be doing the same fast every time, because your body will get used to that. Your body will plateau. You always want to keep your body guessing. So in the book, Fast Like a Girl, and also in Eat Like a Girl, Dr. Mindy gives a specific protocol for fasting for several different variations that will keep your body guessing. And it's basically, based on, her experience, based on others' experience, ladies that she has brought through this. And it's been an amazing experience for me as well, learning this, because when I first started fasting, I actually did hit a plateau because I wasn't following Dr. Mindy's principles at the time. I didn't even know who she was at the time. So when I first started fasting, I was fasting like a dude, and I did hit a plateau because I was doing a lot of 1 meal a day. I was doing a lot of 16-8, 18-6, and I didn't know anything about the variation thing. So the variation is very important, ladies. Definitely follow that. Dudes can do whatever they want. They don't have our complicated hormones. So, but if you are a lady, and especially a lady who is still cycling, you'll want to go in and out of ketosis, in and out of the sugar burner, fat burner systems. And you do that with different lengths of fast. And you do that also by, not fasting the week before your period is super important as well. You don't want to throw off your hormones. So that is one aspect of how you can not hit a plateau while you're doing the Fast Like a Girl. Another thing is that you're going to want to make sure is that you've opened up your detox pathways. And there's different ways that you can do that. You could do some lymph massage, you can do some rebounding, you can do the castor oil packs. I mean, there's so many ways that you can, open up your detox pathways so that you don't get stuck in a weight loss plateau. You'll want to make sure that you're also doing what you can to reduce stress, whether it be regular stress or oxidative stress, all these different things, reducing your chemicals in the home and in the beauty products. I've talked about that in different videos. You can check those out. But basically doing all of those things will help you to not get stuck in a plateau. So I hope that answers the question from one of our members in the group. If it doesn't answer your question, then please reach out to me. Let me know how I can best answer this question for you. Another question that we had from another member was, how many 24-hour fasts would you do in a month to lose weight? Okay. So if you're in what Dr. Mindy refers to as a power phase, meaning you're in days 1 to 10 of your cycle, or in days 11, you're in days 16 to 19 would be your second power phase, okay? Those are the two phases where you're gonna be fasting the most. And you can also fast during your manifestation phase if you're not trying to get pregnant. If you're trying to get pregnant, I wouldn't recommend fasting during that time, but you can fast like a intermittent fast 13 to 15 hours during that time. But your power phases are going to be the times where you can actually extend your fasts and do longer fasts. And so if you're in a power phase, to answer that question, you can fast as many 24-hour fast as you like. You know, once a week would be great. A better option for you though, if you are in weight loss mode, is really push yourself to, you know, open up your detox pathways, do the 17-hour fast for autophagy, you know, detox fasting, do the 24-hour for the gut reset, and then work your way up to the 36-hour fast, which is actually going to be your fat burner fast. And that one is super effective. When I hit a plateau, before I found Dr. Mindy, after I learned that from the book, Dr. Mindy taught this, and there's actually a study that she references in the Fast Like a Girl book as well, that the 36-hour fast or alternate day fasting, where you're basically doing the 36-hour fast, you know, followed by 12 hours of eating, followed by another 36-hour fast. There's a study in there showing that after, you know, people did that for 30 days, they actually saw a dramatic weight loss. They actually saw really great success, even, you know, loss of visceral fat, which is really important. So really, I would recommend to push yourself if you're in weight loss mode to actually do the 36-hour fast more. Now, if you still have your cycle, you can do those, you know, once a week, you know, in your power phases. You can do a couple in your first power phase, since that's a longer one, or maybe just one time in the second power phase. If your hormones are imbalanced, that is the most I would recommend that you do the 36-hour fast. If you are coming into this lifestyle and you feel like your hormones are balanced, you're not having any crazy symptoms of hormonal imbalance, and you are really adventurous and excited to lose this weight, try that alternate day fasting for 30 days if you like, you know, where it's, you know, the 36-12 alternate day fasting for 30 days, and see what you like. I personally was going to try it, but I got scared because right as I came into learning the Dr. Mindy protocol with Fast Like a Girl, I felt like I just had got my hormones balanced. And I didn't want to throw them off again. And I am 45, 46 now. And so I didn't want to throw my hormones, you know, already being, you know, coming down, just the normal hormonal decrease over 40. I didn't want to throw my perimenopausal self out of, you know, hormonal imbalance again. And so I didn't try it, but if you're feeling adventurous and you're feeling like your hormones are balanced and you can take it, then try it out. Otherwise, do it once a week, maybe a couple times, like I said, in your first power phase, maybe once, or at least maybe like a 24-hour fast in that second power phase. But I hope this answers your question. You know, that utilize those longer fasts as much as possible during your power phases. Make sure that you are nourishing well, though, in between those fasts. It is essential that you do that. There is such a thing as too much fasting, okay? So ask me how I know. My hair fell out, started falling out when I was fasting wrong. I started getting, you know, anxiety and depression towards the end of fasting all the wrong way, like a dude. I started crying for like 3 weeks straight because I messed up my hormones so bad. And so when I finally realized, you know, I think I'm doing this fasting thing wrong, I stopped. And then, you know, months later, I found Dr. Mindy and I learned the right way to do it according to, you know, my cycle. And so I highly recommend paying attention to your body. And, you know, if you notice these different fluctuations like that, you're starting to lose more hair, you know, you're not getting enough minerals, you're fasting too much if you start noticing that, okay? So definitely the next question that we had, you know, definitely pay attention to your hormones. So the next question that we had was, should I get my hormones tested? This is a great question. And the answer is yes. If you feel like your hormones are imbalanced and you've went through the 30-day reset, you know, 1 to 3 months, and your hormones are still really crazy, I would recommend getting it tested. Dr. Mindy recommends what's called the Dutch test, and I can certainly help you with that and get that facilitated. I am a full script provider, so I can help you with that. And we can find out exactly what's going on. It tests not only all of your female sex hormones, but also tests your cortisol. It also tests your adrenals. So we can find out exactly what is going on. And I also just partnered with a new company called UVA. And they have basically testing kits where they can send you a kit and you can see what's going on with your hormones daily. So this is great for those that are in perimenopause to see what's going on with their symptoms. It is amazing also for ladies that are trying to conceive. You want to know like the exact day and time, right? That you should be, with your spouse so that you can increase your chances of conceiving. And so this kit will actually tell you exactly where your hormones are daily through the strips. And there's a free app that comes along with it. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me and let me know. But testing your hormones is actually a great way to know exactly what's going on, and then you can come up with a very specific plan of action to get you the results that you're looking for, whether it be to lose weight, to get healthier, to conceive, to deal with PCOS symptoms, or whatever the issue is that you're trying to overcome. Knowing where your hormones are at could be really critical, and it could save you a lot of time. A lot of people can just go fly by the seat of their skirt, so to speak, with this, but there is a time and a place where you should actually just have your hormones tested and see what's going on. So typically hormones will balance in 1 to 3 months of doing the 30-day reset, but sometimes you may find that you actually just need to get some testing done and find out exactly what's going on. So that was a great question from one of our members, and I hope that answers your question. And if not, reach out to me if you would like to get some of those testing done. I would be happy to help you get that facilitated. And what kind of mineral supplement do you recommend? That was another question that we had in the group. And what I recommend, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is Beam Minerals. This is their Micro Boost. This is the mineral supplement. And I also recommend pairing that with the Electrolytes. So Beam has both the minerals and the electrolytes for you. I recommend getting these both together. I take these every day. When you take these both together, you actually only need a ½ ounce of each one. And the reason I love these so much is because there's no sweeteners. You do not have to worry about these breaking your fast at all. And these don't have any junk in it. They don't have any fillers in it. These are, really pure and amazing supplements, and I highly recommend them. They are, the fulvic and humic acid. I can share more about that in the future if you're interested in hearing about that. That is going to be a future video. So comment below if you need that urgently. I will get it out as soon as possible then. But I definitely recommend Beam. And the reason I really highly recommend the minerals is because, especially if you want to start with any kind of a supplement, the minerals and the electrolytes are like your baseline. If you don't have your baseline covered, if you don't have the proper minerals in your system, your body will not be able to detox, number one, properly, and the supplements that you're taking will just not even be able to be absorbed. And so it's really important and critical to have, the proper minerals that your body needs. And also, like I said, it'll just help you with the electrolytes. They will help you to be able to fast longer because you're actually getting all of the the magnesium and the potassium and all of that, the salts and everything, all included. You get that in the Electrolytes, and that is the Beam Electrolytes. And so, like I said, I highly recommend these two together. I will share my link down in the description of this video, and you can take a look at that. And if you have any questions, please, of course, reach out to me. I am here for you. And I hope this answers all of your questions. Let me just review my notes real quick, make sure that I answered all of them today. Yes. Okay. So I think that is all the questions that I had for today. Comment below down in the comments and let me know, what questions do you have? I'm going to be putting out these videos, with Ask a Coach, frequently asked questions. I'm going to do this as often as possible. And so definitely comment below those questions that you have that you would like to ask a certified coach like me. I would love to help you with that. And like I said, go check out that fasted snack video from last week. And if you are brand new to fasting and you have no clue where to start, I'm going to drop a link down in the description of this video to let you know where to get started as well, and a quick video with a guide that will help you get started. So I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you around on the next video. Make it a great day.